Have you ever started up a day and it's normal, then you go through your day and you slowly start to realize, like, maybe today isn't that normal anymore? Well, a few months ago, my family and I, we all drove to Tampa, Busch Gardens, to have some quality family time. It was me, my mom, my godmother, my two grandparents. We all hopped in the Jeep. We're on our way. It was an amazing drive, to be completely honest. Popped in my headphones, fell asleep, woke up like an hour later, I see the roller coasters in the distance, and I'm like, yes, I'm about to go no hands on that whole very first ride. Safe to say, I was super excited. So we get to the park, and my grandparents, they're old. They can't walk the park. So we go to the wheelchair rental place. That's what I'm going to call it. I don't know the name of it. It's just the wheelchair rental place. My grandfather, he gets the electric scooter. He's pretty happy about that. Nobody has to push him around. He gets to go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. My grandmother, she was okay with me pushing her all day. I don't know why we did this, because my grandfather, his truck up in Massachusetts, completely busted. He's backed into trees. He's backed into old people. Old people meaning like old people in their car, but he's still backed into old people. So we get the wheelchairs and we go on the ride. The grandparents are old, so they can't go on the ride. They just wait for us. We go to the zoo part, because it's a half zoo. We see the cheetahs, we see the rhinos, the hippos. After we get lunch, my grandfather's excited. He sees a chocolate store. He's like, hey, we need to go to the chocolate store. Everyone's like, okay, yeah, everyone likes chocolate. We're like, okay, we'll go to the chocolate store with you. He wants to get something for my grandmother. So romantic. We get inside. He looks around. He gets something. He asks my grandmother what she wants. He gets her something. We explore the store a little bit more. My grandparents, they're both by the Hershey's Kisses. I'm over looking at the Hershey's bars with my back turned to both of them. Next thing I know, I hear a scream. I turn around, and the next thing I see is this little girl on the ground, and my grandfather kind of he doesn't have a grin. He's kind of shocked because he just did it. But I realize he just ran over a little girl. Now, I'm thinking back to his car up in Massachusetts. So I'm like, oh, man. He just completely destroyed this little girl. She gets up crying. The dad carries her away. Doesn't press any charges. We're pretty happy about that. A few minutes pass. We're still in the same place. And I hear crack. I turn around, and he has my grandmother pinned up against the wall with his wheelchair. He basically ran into her. Everyone's screaming. It's pretty hectic. So we finally get out of there. We explore the park a little bit more. And, it's fine for a little bit until sunset comes. And we're like, hey, we still have an hour and a half to get home, so let's head out. This is when we get to the exit. Everything's fine. We're like, okay, he can't possibly do anything else. So I'm still pushing my grandmother. I bring her around the little metal detector things, that you go through. It was the end of the day, so nobody was there. I bring my grandmother around. I'm like, hey, with her wheelchair, she's not going to make it. For something inside of my grandfather's head said, hey, you should go through it. He goes through it. I remember I'm in front of them. I'm in front of him and my entire family. I remember hearing, stop, Dad, no. And then the next thing I know, I turn around and he's going full speed. He floors it. I swear he's going so fast, I can see smoke coming out of the wheels in the back. And he goes through the metal detector. Me knowing that it wasn't going to go well, I immediately stop. Next thing I know, he gets caught on the metal detector and it starts to fall over. At this point, everyone is freaking out. Hashtag shooketh. I'm shooketh. Grandmother shooketh. Little girls watching across the little walkway shooketh. There's a worker that was escorting us back to the car shooketh. The worst part is he doesn't destroy one of them. He doesn't completely knock down one of them. They're all connected by little wires to keep them plugged in. He disconnects 3 of them. 2 almost fall over. 1 is completely on the ground. The worker that's with us, he picks it back up. Doesn't want anything to do with it. Everybody gets out of there quick as possible. So we're all scared. We don't really say anything. My grandfather, he thinks it's hilarious. Keep in mind, old people did not care. We get back to the car and we just think about it did this really just happen? But at the end of the day, it's my grandfather. Can't really do anything about it. We didn't get any charges against us, so, it was a pretty fun day.